This is it. We are finally saying goodbye to the Yokohama XAT tires. This is the second flat tire we've had, and it is of no fault to the tires. The first time was a big bolt that was about 1.5 inches long, 1/2 inch diameter, that went right through the tread block and completely flattened the tire. And then the second time, the plug that we had put in to fill the hole in the tire came out while we were driving on the highway. And we're ready for new tires. Let's go over what we like about the tires, what we don't like about the tires, and why we're replacing them even though they have tread left. These tires came with 1930 seconds of tread depth, and currently we are at 1130 seconds on the outside and 730 seconds on the center. And all the tires are really even, which is great. However, the tread depth difference between the center and the sides is where the problem really lies. Now, we have 32,000 miles on these tires, and they are approximately 3 years and 2 months old. The tread wear is really good as far as mileage goes. I think these could hit the mileage warranty if we could put up with them for that long. However, that tread depth difference is because the tires are cupping really bad. They have basically, cupping is where the outside of the tread blocks start doing this. So you end up with high spots and low spots, which makes them exceedingly noisy. Now, question is, why do they cup? And there could be a number of reasons. One is that these wheels are the narrowest wheels that these tires allow for. They're 8.5 inches wide. I think a 9-inch wide wheel, possibly even a 10-inch wide wheel, may help mitigate against the tire cupping. Second is we've run this tire with a lot of weight continuously since we put the tires on the truck, because it's got a truck camper. If we don't have the truck camper, we're pulling our dump trailer. It's always got a lot of weight on it. Now, we've run the tires as low of pressure as we can and still maintain the weight requirement for the load on these tires, which typically means that the rear tires are running anywhere between 45 and 50 PSI. They're a low D range tire, and that keeps us in the parameters for the load carrying capacity. In the front, we run around 35 PSI most of the time. Tread wear could be a non-issue if you had a wider wheel and maybe you run less load on the tire. I don't know for sure. I've heard that this tire carcass does have a tendency of crowning, so it could be just the dynamic of how the tire is constructed. Now, these tires are a really high quality tire. They're built in Japan. The durability has been top-notch, excellent. I would highly recommend them for a tire that's being used off-road and you want to not worry about blowing out a sidewall, anything along those lines. We've run thousands of miles off-road at low PSI with high load on the tire and have had zero issues with the sidewall failing or really any other flats except for the bolts that got stuck in the tire tread. All the rest of the tires have been fine since we bought it, and 32,000 miles isn't too shabby overall for the use on it. Now, the tire cupping has made the tires exceedingly noisy. They're about what a mud terrain tire is as far as noise goes at this point, which has kind of drove us crazy. Between that and the fact that our tire plug failed on the back tire, we decided let's go ahead and replace them. The other factor is because they're aging, they're 3 years old, we're starting to get some tire cracking along the tread blocks. We've had some tire tread blocks get damaged and ripped off with the different rocks and rough terrain we've driven it on. Totally to be expected, that's normal. And overall, I would say durability has been really good. Tread wear has been good as far as duration of the tread wear, but the crowning has been a huge issue for us. And that's one of the reasons why we will not be running these tires again on this truck. Now, I would give these tires a 5 out of 5 for durability. I think they've been excellent with all the off-road miles we've put on them, with the heavy load, with low PSI, thousands of miles off-road, and we've had no tire failures, no sidewall punctures. The only issue we had is with the one tire with the bolt that got stuck in it, and that was not even off-road, that was on the highway. And then the second failure was when the plug that we put into the tire came back out. So I would give them high marks for that. The other, I would give high marks as far as on-road. They balance really well. We only rebalanced the tires once in 3 years, and they never had a problem with bumping around, and they always ran smooth down the road. That's a good testament to a quality built tire. They also track really well down the road. You don't get the pulling to the right or to the left. You can basically have your hands off the steering wheel. That is fantastic. Now, the tire tread wear with the cupping has made them exceedingly noisy, which is difficult to live with. It basically sounds like a mud terrain tire. Now, these are a hybrid tire, which is kind of a bridge between all-terrain and mud terrain as far as the tread gapping and how aggressive the tread pattern is. Now, this tire functions really well in most conditions. What we've found it to excel in is just general overland type travel, gravel roads and dirt roads, off-road. In the rocks, it does just fine. Now, in deep snow, these tires are fantastic. A lot of tire tread patterns, especially as they get more aggressive, have a tendency of digging down instead of pulling the vehicle forward. These tires have been fantastic with pulling forward and not getting stuck into deep snow ruts when we have had it out in the deep snow. Now, the other trade-off then is compact snow and ice. Now, you can tell because on the tread pattern, there's not much siping in the treads. They're big tread blocks, which equates to not the best snow and compact ice traction. They're adequate, they're fairly predictable, but if you were wanting to run these in the winter, primarily I would not choose these tires. I would choose something that's either snow-based tire or something that has more siping, or even add siping to these tires, or even stud them if it's more extreme. After 3 years of having these tires and 32,000 miles of tread life, I would still say I would recommend them overall as a good quality built tire that performs well in most conditions. However, with our specific usage and with the cupping issue, I would not buy them again because they have been difficult with the tread blocks wearing unevenly and the top wearing more than the sides and the additional noise from it. Now, like I said, it could be because of how we use the tires, and it could be because of the tire casing itself. I think if you buy these tires, just make sure that you keep them rotated, make sure you monitor the tire pressure on them, and hopefully you have a little bit wider wheel, and maybe that would help mitigate the tire from cupping quite as much. And if you're less weight, it may be a non-issue altogether. Now, what's next? That's the question, and we are going to have a new set of tires put on today. And we'll do another video showing what the tread or the new tire is with our initial thoughts, but maybe you can guess what the new tire is. Post up in the comments below, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions about this Yokohama tire or any other feedback that you'd like to have on it, post up in the comments. We do read them, we do respond, and we'd be glad to answer any questions you have. Overall, Yokohama quality tire built in Japan. Thumbs up. We'll catch you later.
Thank you.